Higher education. Data on entry rates to higher education showed that in 2020, white students were the least likely to go to university at 32.6%, followed by students from the mixed 39%, black 47.5%, Asian 53.1%, and Chinese 71.7% ethnic groups. Male white British pupils eligible for FSM are the least likely of all the main ethnic or social groups to progress to higher education at age 19 at just 12.7%. This progression rate has fallen slightly for the first time since 2011 to 2012. However, as just noted, for white students eligible for FSM in London, the entry rate has pulled away from that in other parts of the country and is now nearly 9 percentage points higher than any other region. In line with Professor Strand's findings for attainment, most ethnic minorities do relatively well in accessing higher education, including those from lower socio-economic backgrounds. In the 2018 to 2019 academic year, 66.9% of black African young people had progressed to higher education by age 19, including 59% of those eligible for free school meals. Only the Chinese ethnic group has a higher progression rate for FSM students to higher education at 72.8%. Table 7. Progression rates to higher education by age 19 for 2018/19. There are 4 data points on this table. FSM, all other pupils, for a total, odds ratio between FSM and all other pupils. Chinese, 72.8%, 79.8%, 79.3%, 0.68. Black African, 59%, 69.7%, 66.9%, 0.63. Bangladeshi, 58.6%, 67.8%, 64.9%, 0.67. Indian, 57.2%, 73%, 71.7%, 0.49. Any other Asian background, 57.1%, 70.5%, 68.8%, 0.56. Any other ethnic group, 55.9%, 61.3%, 59.9%, 0.8. Pakistani, 47.1%, 59.5%, 56.5%, 0.61. Any other black background, 40.8%, 56%, 52.1%, 0.54. White and black African, 39.9%, 54.7%, 51.5%, 0.55. Any other white background, 37.2%, 47.9%, 46.6%, 0.64. Any other mixed background, 33.6%, 56.4%, 52.3%, 0.39. White and Asian, 33.2%, 59.1%, 55.2%, 0.34. Black Caribbean, 31.8%, 48.5%, 44.7%, 0.5. Unknown, 28.6%, 45.8%, 43%, 0.47. White and black Caribbean, 21.1%, 40%, 35.8%, 0.4. White Irish, 20.9%, 57.9%, 53%, 0.19. White British, 16%, 40.9%, 37.9%, 0.28. Traveller of Irish heritage, 6.3%, 10.2%, 7.6%, 0.59. Gypsy/Roma, 3.8%, 6.1%, 5.2%, 0.61. Total, 26.3%, 45.1%, 42.5%, 0.43. While Black African and Black Caribbean pupils are more likely to progress to university than white British students, Black students are also the most likely out of the aggregated ethnic groups to attend low-tariff universities. In 2018 to 2019, Black entrants were 1.7 times as likely to go to a low-tariff institution as white entrants. Meanwhile, in the same year, 36.3% of white university entrants went to high-tariff providers. The highest percentage of all ethnic groups where ethnicity was known, followed by 36% of entrants with mixed ethnicity. This is in part a selection effect, due to the higher rates of progression to university amongst ethnic minorities. But only 17.6% of Black entrants went to high-tariff providers, the lowest percentage out of all ethnic groups. In terms of overall progression, Black Caribbean pupils are the least likely of the main ethnic groups to progress to the more elite high-tariff universities by age 19. This progression rate of 5.2% is less than half the overall national figure of 10.9% of all pupils. So although Black students are progressing to university at healthy rates, they tend to be clustered in the lower tariff institutions, as shown in the graphs below. Likewise, although Asian students have much larger rates of progression to higher education than both white British and Black students, many are clustered in mid-tier universities. Figure 4. Percentage of each ethnic group entering low, medium and high tariff providers, UK 2018 to 2019 academic year. Asian, high, 32.1%, medium, 37.6%, low, 28.1%, other, 2.2%. Black, high, 17.6%, medium, 31.8%, low, 47.6%, other, 3%. Mixed, high, 36%, medium, 29.8%, low, 30%, other, 4.2%. White, high, 36.3%, medium, 28.8%, low, 27.8%, other, 7.1%. Other, high, 29.9%, medium, 32.6%, low, 34.5%, other, 3%. Unknown, high, 41.9%, medium, 25.8%, low, 25.2%, other, 7.1%. Different graduate outcomes. Once at university, ethnic minority students, with the exception of Asian students, are more likely to drop out, have lower levels of attainment, and lower earnings after graduating. The highest overall non-continuation rate, at 15.5%, is found amongst Black students. For other providers, those that are not high-tariff providers, Black students have the highest non-continuation rates, at 17%, followed by students from other ethnic groups, 14.2%, and the mixed ethnic group, 13.9%. For white students in these providers, the non-continuation rate was 10.9%. This pattern holds true even for those in STEM subjects, which are generally viewed as being secure routes to success. Black students have the highest non-continuation rates for STEM students at higher tariff providers, and Black STEM students in providers with medium to low tariffs had the highest non-continuation rates overall. Black students also struggle when it comes to degree class. The most recent data, 2018 to 2019, shows white students with the highest percentage of first-class degrees at 31.5%, and black students with the lowest percentage at 14.5%. Asian students, 23%, and those with mixed ethnicity, 26.2%, came in the middle. The pattern continues into graduate earnings 10 years after completing a first degree, although more detailed ethnic groups in the data highlight the position of Pakistani and Bangladeshi graduates too. For the cohort that graduated in 2006-07, there are 5 ethnic groups with median earnings less than £30,000. Black African, 29,200. Bangladeshi, 28,500. Black Caribbean, 28,500. And other black ethnic groups, 27,000. And the Pakistani ethnic group, 25,600. The white ethnic group has median earnings of £31,000, and median earnings for various mixed Indian and Chinese ethnic groups are all above £33,000. One explanation is that students entering low-tariff universities are less able to compete against those from higher-tariff universities, and are therefore less likely to secure employment in their chosen career. As ethnic minorities are disproportionately more likely to attend these universities, this may limit their employment choices and earnings in later life. Another explanation is that ethnic minority students, and especially black students from lower social status backgrounds, are not being well advised on which courses to take at university. About 40% of black African people and 39% of people from Bangladeshi ethnic groups are overqualified for their roles, compared with 25% of white workers. National Centre for Social Research, NatCen, the country's leading independent social research institute, undertook a series of focus groups on behalf of the Commission. The issue of needing access to networks and good carers guidance came through strongly. Those in high-skilled occupations had typically made more use of formal support services, including university careers services, alongside informal sources of support. They were more likely to have studied subjects with a clear career trajectory, such as medicine, teaching, or accountancy, and typically took up industry placements, work experience, or benefited from informal mentors before and after graduation. In contrast, those in low-skilled occupations had relied more heavily on informal information and support, and reported limited or negative experiences of formal support services. This group either did not access university career support, or tried to do so after completing their degree, at which point the support was no longer available. Generally, this group studied degree subjects with multiple or less obvious career trajectories, such as sociology, business, or creative arts. The focus groups also highlighted the impact that being the first in the family to go to university can have on a person's career prospects. Participants could feel alone in navigating their way to high-skilled employment, as their families were unable to provide practical careers guidance or support. Across all ethnic groups and occupations, young people highlighted the need for better careers advice and planning at schools and universities through alumni networks, inviting employers to schools, and effective careers advice. Relevant insider knowledge is often not available to those from more disadvantaged backgrounds. Elite universities, for example, often look for evidence of extracurricular activity, such as volunteering when selecting students. The Commission proposes improvements to the quality of and access to careers advice for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. This builds on the measures to drive change in tackling inequalities between ethnic groups in higher education announced by the government in February 2019. The measures announced gave the Office for Students, OFS, more powers to scrutinise institutions' access and participation plans. All universities now have to publish data on admissions and attainment, broken down by ethnicity, gender, and socio-economic background, to shine a spotlight on those making good progress and those lagging behind. Attainment at A-level in schools and colleges is the most important factor influencing entry of the highest tariff courses and universities. The Commission received advice from OFS noting long-standing patterns of attainment in schools, coupled with perceptions of financial cost and belonging in higher education, influencing family and community expectations. Measures to reduce attainment gaps need to be tackled early by engaging young people while their expectations are still forming, engaging teachers and parents, providing them with carer guidance, and removing the academic, financial, and cultural barriers to meeting their ambitions, rather than assuming that ambitions themselves are low. This requires targeted and sustained engagement with young people, schools, and families to create pathways into higher education rather than one-off interventions, and this is best delivered in or close to schools and colleges. It should be noted that a report commissioned by Gatsby Charitable Foundation into improving career guidance in England noted 8 Gatsby benchmarks of good carers guidance, including a stable careers programme, learning from career and labour market information, addressing the needs of each pupil, linking curriculum learning to careers, encounters with employers and employees, experiences of workplaces, encounters with further and higher education, and personal guidance. Recommendation 15. Create agency. Empower pupils to make more informed choices to fulfill their future potential. We recommend stronger guidance is issued by Office for Students, OFS, to higher education institutions on funding outreach programs and placing university outreach staff in schools to help reduce disparities in applications at an earlier stage. Funding should be informed by evidence-led practice and targeted at the 8 elements of good career support to ensure more children are able to apply to high-tariff institutions. This funding should be evaluated and monitored to assess whether it's having an impact on application rates. If guidance from OFS does not lead to strengthened funding for such initiatives, the OFS should look to regulatory or legal changes to ensure improved access and participation to higher education institutions. Apprenticeships, vocational education, and lifelong learning. Data in the higher education section above shows that 1. Academic students are not getting into the top universities at the rate that they should, and 2. Non-academic students are heading to the low-tier universities and dropping out. This is particularly true for black students. A thriving university sector is vital for this country and should be even more open to those with the relevant abilities and aptitudes from all backgrounds. But young people appear to be over-investing in university degrees that are not leading to the high-status professional jobs they've been led to expect. There are satisfying and well-rewarded careers that do not require academic qualifications, at least at the entry level, and are often better paid than low-level graduate employment. Longitudinal study surveys and interview data in England reveal that those with degrees were less likely to be in work at ages 22 to 23 than those who left school to enter employment at 18. More routes into a variety of skilled jobs and a wider definition of skill will benefit UK society, and particularly the less affluent who have not yet all benefited from the great expansion in higher education. People's talents are wide and varied, but we tend to overvalue the cognitive and undervalue others. Around 40% of young people do not achieve a good pass in English and maths that is required to move into the academic stream at school or sixth form college. A recent academic paper finds that young people from this group tend to feel like failures, despite demonstrating good attainment in other GCSE subjects. It is believed that pupils' academic self-concept, their belief in their own abilities, in turn impacts their success in education. This is an example of the negative impacts of the British system's narrow view of ability based on generic cognitive analytical aptitudes. The Commission welcomes the government's recent Skills for Jobs white paper and the greater focus on the more than half of school leavers aged 18 who do not go to university. It also commends the government's increasing support for traineeships and apprenticeships announced in the recent 2021 budget. The government has, in recent years, been paying more attention to those who are not heading for university, and a series of measures and reports. These all suggest that there is now an infrastructure in place to deliver credible non-university options. This is partly driven by employer and economic necessity, especially with more restrictive immigration rules now in place. It is vital that ethnic minority young people do not see their future through only a higher education lens. Responses from the Commission's call for evidence highlighted the importance of promoting vocational training options such as apprenticeships, as well as academic routes. Case study: the Sutton Trust. The Sutton Trust supports young people from less advantaged backgrounds to access leading universities and careers. They run programs in partnership with universities and employers that give students practical advice and leave them feeling inspired and more confident about their future. So far, over 41,000 people have taken part in one of the Sutton Trust's programs, with each of those individuals becoming part of the Sutton Trust alumni community. One of their programs is the Apprenticeship Summer School, which they deliver in partnership with employers. As part of the program, students get an in-depth understanding of degree apprenticeships, what they involve, and whether a degree apprenticeship is the right choice for them. They also hear from current apprentices, experience networking opportunities, attend sessions hosted by employers, and learn the different application processes employers use. Apprenticeships provide an opportunity to combine work with classroom study, with the possibility to move into full-time academic work later in life if their ambitions pivot in that direction at a later stage. The Commission recommends organisations and employers, such as those highlighted in the case studies, who reach out to and provide high-quality apprenticeship opportunities to young people. Case study: PwC. PwC offers Accounting and Technology Flying Start degree programs. The 4-year programs fast-track applicants' careers in business, accounting and finance and technology. Following the accounting route, students will receive 3 paid work placements with PwC during the program and are built into the university's academic year and last for just 1 term in each year. The program places them on track to becoming an ICAEW chartered accountant, ensuring they complete 80% of their ICAEW exams during the degree. Technology apprentices study towards a full BSc degree in computer science or software engineering, depending on the university attended, and are also able to gain the relevant apprenticeship qualification. During the program, they will spend periods of work-based learning in the business working on cutting-edge digital and technology client projects at PCW. This program is a fully fledged degree apprenticeship, therefore negating the need to pay tuition fees, and as a PwC apprentice from day one, a salary is paid throughout. For both the accounting and technology routes, the student could secure their future career with the firm. As a way of improving the accessibility of the programs, PwC conducts a wide range of activities such as their Social Mobility Community program and their Virtual Insights Week. They also help students to develop their employability skills through the Employability Hub, which provides them with virtual tools to support them to develop key employability skills from online applications and assessments, video interviews, assessment days. The Commission is concerned by the evident disparities in the take-up of apprenticeships across age and ethnicity. The data shows that young ethnic minority people are underrepresented in the apprenticeship system, including both school leavers and those who take up apprenticeships in their early 20s. In London, before the levy was introduced, 2015 to 2016, those from the black ethnic group were well represented in apprenticeships overall. However, they were also more likely to be clustered in lower-level and lower-paid apprenticeships. Higher-level apprenticeships are dominated by employees aged over 25. The levy introduced in 2017 has reinforced the bias to investing training money in existing employees at higher level 4 and 5 vocational training level rather than the level 2 and 3 more suitable for school leavers. Case study: Rolls-Royce STEM Education Outreach Program. Rolls-Royce, a world-leading industrial technology company, has committed to advancing STEM subjects amongst the scientists and engineers of tomorrow, and has a target to reach 25 million people by 2030 with their STEM education programs and activities. As part of this objective, They conduct extensive outreach year-round with schools, partners and students through their STEM ambassadors, who champion the full range of their early career pathways. Examples of this outreach include Primary Engineer, Careers Q&A sessions, and Big Bang UK. The Rolls-Royce Schools Prize for Science and Technology is the company's flagship programme and is open to all schools in the UK. It celebrates excellence in STEM teaching and learning, showcases best practices through its annual awards event, and supports teachers' continuous professional development. In addition, Rolls-Royce offers various apprenticeship programs where apprentices receive a combination of on-the-job training with digital learning and practical skills development as they study towards a nationally recognised qualification or a range of degree programs. There appears to be a mixture of stronger traditions of understanding and respecting the apprenticeship system in white British families, and an exaggerated respect for the academic route as the only path to success and economic safety on the part of the ethnic minorities. There also seems to be a mixture of prejudice and ignorance about apprenticeships in ethnic minority families. A survey by Youth Employment UK earlier this year found that 33% of black respondents had never had apprenticeships discussed with them, compared with 13% of white respondents. This minority bias has overlapped with the thrust of public policy, which has been to send as many school leavers as possible into academic, usually residential, higher education, with a corresponding neglect of other pathways. Recommendation 16. Create agency. Open up access to apprenticeships. The Commission recommends that the government conducts a highly targeted apprenticeships campaign to persuade young people to do apprenticeships in growth sectors. Our view is that such a campaign could be of particular benefit to young people who face discrimination or disadvantage and currently lack access to in-depth information about the full range of career pathways. Such a campaign could use a range of mechanisms to attract young people, such as relatable young role models, employer testimonies, data on potential earnings and career progression. It could explore the impact of factors that influence a young person's career choices, such as parental engagement, peer influence, access to information on different career routes, employer links with students, and people like me, and be delivered in partnership with further educational colleges, Job Centre Plus, youth hubs in community spaces, and career hubs in schools. A two-phased approach to roll out is proposed. First, pilots to be undertaken and evaluated in left-behind areas across England. And second, a national rollout of a well-evidenced, highly targeted campaign which focuses on getting young people into a new job as part of an apprenticeship, and rewards providers for successfully achieving this. DfE and Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, should work in partnership with Youth Futures Foundation to co-fund the design of the campaign, put out a call for further education colleges working in partnership with local employers and the community to apply to be considered for pilots, commission an independent evaluation of the pilots, one which includes identifying what works as part of its findings. Lifelong learning and alternative routes must also be central to the labour market of the future for those who do not stay on the academic ladder age 16, and for those who have progressed on the ladder but have not found satisfactory employment subsequently. Lifelong learning has been much talked about in the past 20 years, but for most of that time we have seen adult education and re-education, both at higher education levels and at higher manual and technical levels, in free fall. The adult education budget has fallen by about 2/3 from 2003 to July 2019. The increase in tuition fees in 2012 led to a sharp reduction in the number of mature students at university, which undermined the government's often repeated claim that the participation in higher education of people from disadvantaged backgrounds has continued to rise. This may be true amongst school leavers, but not for students aged 21 or above, who are more likely to be from disadvantaged groups, come from ethnic minority backgrounds, have a disability, or have non-traditional qualifications. Now, we do have a chance to make lifelong learning a reality, key both for an adaptable economy and for those second chances in individual lives. The recently announced Lifetime Skills Guarantee will mean that all individuals are guaranteed state support for any Level 3 training, and a 3 or 4 year long loan guarantee will also soon be available for those who want to change direction and retrain in later life with a part-time course at their local further education college or university. These changes go some way to redressing the bias towards the funding of the academic route, and offer opportunities for training that are currently only available to university undergraduates studying conventional degrees.